Hey, it's Sri here. In today's video, I'm going to talk you through 4 reasons why men go off and cheat. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below and click on that bell notification as well, so every week you get access to my latest video teaching you about male psychology, teaching you about how to improve your marriage, and really how to heal from within as well during difficult times in your marriage. Now, being on the receiving end of infidelity is just some of the most extreme pain that you could possibly imagine. And you know, when you're in a situation where you've spent a lot of time with a husband and, you know, you've spent sometimes 10, 20, 30 years together, and then he goes off and engages in infidelity, it's just devastating. I mean, let's be honest, it's really, really devastating, and it hits the very core of who you are, because as human beings, what happens is we want to make sure that we feel safe, both on a physical level and on an emotional level as well, because that's what we craved when we were younger. You know, when we were a kid, that's what happened. And so when we engage in infidelity and someone goes off and sort of betrays our trust and cheats on us, it literally feels like we're not loved, we're not good enough, makes us feel hugely rejected, and it brings up huge abandonment issues as well. And that's why it's so intense to experience that pain. But I think sometimes what we need to be doing here is understanding exactly why, just so we can get some clarity on the situation before we're actually able to move forward and actually heal from it. Our brain just needs to understand a little bit more about why it happened. And then once we understand the why, then we can start to move forward. And whether that's to save the marriage or whether it's to walk away, it helps us to get some ability to move forward. So what I'm going to do today is to help you with understanding more around the why. I'm going to talk you through 4 reasons why men go off and cheat in these scenarios. Now, the first reason why men cheat is because they feel completely inadequate. Now, you might be sitting there and thinking, so he feels inadequate, so he's going to go off and cheat? That's right. You see, what happens for a lot of guys is that they feel over time in marriages that they're not necessarily getting the love that they want. They're not feeling special, they're not feeling unique, and that's in no way your fault or anything like that. It's just the natural progression for a lot of marriages, because we don't get taught how to actually have a wonderful marriage in life. We don't learn that at school or in college or anything like that. We just have to go about in daily life. And due to the law of familiarity, what happens is with anything that we have in life, when we actually, spend a bit of time with that item, whether it's a new phone or whether it's a new car or whether it's your partner, over time, unless we're nurturing that and we're continuing to grow it, we start to take it for granted. And that goes for both parties. So over time, it's like you spend more time with your kids and then other things get in the way and work gets in the way. And let's say the man is feeling like he's not really accomplishing what he wants to accomplish at work, or he's not building a very good relationship with the kids and he feels completely inadequate. And maybe you're not engaging in the same levels of intimacy or, that same bond that you may have had in the past. What happens over time there is that he starts to feel more and more inadequate, just like you feel like you're not being seen, you're not being heard, you're not being understood, and you're not being made a priority. So this is in no way, a criticism towards women or anything like that. This is just an explanation from a male perspective around why men go down that path. So if he feels inadequate and there's a moment where someone gives him a bit of attention or someone, compliments him on the way he looks or whatever it may be, immediately that makes him feel significant. It makes him feel important. And because often what happens is that inner child inside of us is running the show, and that little child inside is going, oh my God, I'm getting a little bit of attention here. When you get those crumbs or you're getting the main meal, you want to take it. And that's what happens for a lot of men in those scenarios. I'm not justifying it in any way. I know it's wrong, but in order for us to move forward, we have to empathize and understand with where that person is at that moment in time. You've got to remember that that inner child runs the show so much. And because of those feelings of inadequacy, then it brings up more and more problems. And if there's a moment, like I say, where he feels significant, then immediately he jumps to that. Now, the second reason is due to a lack of intimacy. Now, a lot of people think that all men want is sex. Now, I've explained this in other videos as well about the fact that it's not about sex. It's about a man feeling like he is significant enough that his woman will open to him. That he feels like she genuinely values him on so many levels, and sex is the ultimate expression of that. And if he's not getting, if he doesn't feel like he's getting the level of intimacy and connection and sexual intimacy that he wants, and then over time that feeling's just going to keep building up, then he gets to that place where he hits his tipping point. And unfortunately for a lot of men, they don't know how to communicate their needs to their partner because they've probably felt like they have, and maybe they've got into some sort of arguments of some sort, and they sort of feel like it's a bit of a lost cause. So they don't know how to communicate that with their partner well. They haven't learned the ability to communicate properly. And so what happens, once again, an opportunity arises and they take it. And as always, I am the first to admit that infidelity on any level is unacceptable. But once again, we have to understand the why. And often lack of intimacy can be a really, really big component towards people engaging in infidelity. Now, does that mean that you just have to keep putting out sex because just to prevent him from going and cheating? Absolutely not. But it just means that you need to improve the levels of communication so you understand each other. That's the key thing. Because a lot of the time, the reason why sex is not being achieved in the marriage is because emotional needs are not being met to the point at which the female partner genuinely wants to express herself in that form. So it absolutely goes both ways. This is, once again, not about blaming women or anything like that. This is just about understanding more about the male perspective. I'd love to know in the comment section below, if you are on the receiving end of infidelity, what did your husband tell you about why he actually cheated on you? Just write your comments below and I'll make sure I respond to every single one of them. And the third reason is often due to FOMO. And we know what FOMO is, which is the fear of missing out. Now, this is the part which I know can create a huge amount of triggers for a lot of people out there. Because what often happens is so many men will get involved in a relationship early. And they might think, you know what? I kind of want to settle down. Some of my mates are getting settled down and so on, and I want to have kids and things like that. So there is often this expectation within themselves that they need to go down this particular path and have a family and all those sorts of things. But often what happens for a lot of guys as well is that deep inside, you know, when they were maybe in their teenage years and early 20s and so forth, they had these somewhat expectations that they wanted to go out and hook up and be with certain, you know, types of women and so on. So they had all of that, and if their expectations surpassed their reality, so in other words, they didn't quite get the results that they were looking for, and then they ended up getting involved in a marriage and they got involved early in their life. So then what happens is as they get older, they look back and sometimes they might hit 40 or 50 and think, geez, look, I'm getting old and man, I missed out on those years. And they find their physical attraction towards other women starting to increase massively. And then they find it easy to justify it by saying, well, you know what? You know, our marriage has been a flop for some time now. We haven't had any real connection, so I'm just going to go and hook up with that other person. Now, that's not a good enough reason, but if you look at it from a male perspective, and for a man, so many times they have this expectation of what they want in their life. And if their reality does not meet or exceed their expectations, then that causes big problems. That delta, that gap between expectation and reality, if that's really, really big in the favor of expectation, in other words, the expectation is higher than what their reality is, then that's going to cause problems. They're going to be lured into that environment. Whereas you have other people, and I've spoken to them, and I'm one myself, where I wanted to make sure that I got a lot of that stuff out of my system at a younger age, so that when I got married, I had no desire, and I just do not have any desire whatsoever to be with any other woman, because I love my wife so much. And I see that with men who are extremely happily married, that they have zero interest They might look at another woman and think she's beautiful or whatever, but they have no interest in going any further than that, because they know that what they experience in that marriage, there's no way that that can be experienced anywhere else. It can only be experienced in that marriage. So a big part of infidelity occurring for some men is often when their realities don't meet their expectations, and it causes huge problems in their life. And the fourth reason that men engage in infidelity is due to the compound effect. Now, what happens here is that if a marriage has not been operating at its best for some time, and it's been compounding and compounding and compounding in terms of the negative experiences. So it may start off that you guys connect well, and then over time each of you get busy and you start focusing on your own careers or other aspects of life, or then kids come along and you're spending more time, energy and so forth into them than you do into the two of you. Then over time you're going to slowly start to distance from each other. Then what happens is you start to trigger each other a lot more. So the most minor things start to trigger each other. And that could be, oh honey, can you go and take out the trash? Or how come you're not home yet from work? Or, why did you not get something from the supermarket? Or why are you always sort of on my case all the time? And so on. So the anger and the resentment comes from both parties. And then as those emotions start to stack on top of each other, you have the situation where they start to create stories in their mind, like, I'm not sure if this is the right person for me anymore. I'm not sure if, I want to be with this person anymore. So each of those emotions start to compound, and you hit that threshold. And eventually you get to a point where you say, this marriage is dead. I don't want to be in this marriage anymore. And it's not that the marriage is necessarily dead, in that both people didn't quite make the effort in order to really make it work. Now, obviously there are some instances where one party has been trying to make that effort for a long time and the other person has. Absolutely, I totally understand that. But a lot of the time, what I see is that both parties haven't actually made a huge effort for a long time, and it creates more and more problems within the marriage, and it just leads to people engaging in infidelity. So as I've always said, I'm not an advocate for infidelity at all. It should never happen. It should never even get to that place. But often what happens is it does, because people are often afraid to speak and communicate some of those things that they need to, and think they can just sort of be a little bit naughty behind someone's back. And that's not a very good thing, but it does happen. And I hope that this video just gives you some clarification on some really key reasons why men tend to engage in infidelity in their marriage. Now, if you are in a situation that, your husband has cheated on you and you want to make your marriage work, or you're just trying to figure out what steps that you need to be taking, then, I know that in those moments, your emotions can be running really, really high, and you sometimes need just a little bit of clarity in order to move forward and get the best outcome that you're looking for. So if you are needing some support and some guidance, then, my program, The Authentic Relationship System, might actually be a really good fit for you. It's an incredible program that goes really, really deep into, understanding male psychology, helping you to heal from within, and really being able to maximize your chances of saving your marriage. So if you do connect with some of my material and you'd like to speak with me directly, then I'd love to be of service to you. So all you need to do is just in the description section below, just click on that link which just says book a call with me. Just click on that link, choose a time that works for you, and then I'll contact you at the scheduled time just to see if I can help in any way and see if you're a good fit for the program. And if you are, then we can work through the next steps and get you into the program as well. So I can't wait to be of service to you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, make sure you hit the like button below. If you want to get more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and make sure you click on that bell notification as well, so you receive access to all of my latest videos every week. And let me know what your biggest takeaway is from this video as well. I always love hearing the comments and all the questions, so just make sure you write them below and I'll reply to every single one of them. If you want to learn how to stop emasculating your man, click this video above. And if you want to learn whether men regret losing a good woman, click this video above. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you in the next video.